Have you ever looked at your phone and thought, why don't my children call me anymore? You remember when they were little, they needed you for everything. They called when they were sick. They called when they needed advice. They called when they needed money. They called when they needed someone to listen. And then, somewhere along the way, things changed. Your children grew up. They got jobs, spouses, children of their own, responsibilities and busy lives. And suddenly, the phones doesn't ring nearly as much. And if we're being honest, that can hurt. Sometimes it doesn't just hurt because you miss hearing their voice. It hurts because you start wondering, do they still need me? Did I do something wrong? Do they even think about me? Today, Grandma Miranda wants to talk honestly about what you can do when your children stop calling. Because growing older doesn't mean you stop needing love, connection, or family. And it certainly doesn't mean you stop being important. Part 1, don't immediately assume they don't care. This is probably the hardest thing to remember. A lack of phone calls doesn't automatically mean a lack of love. Your child may be overwhelmed. They may be working long hours. They may be raising children. They may be dealing with financial problems, relationships problems, or problems they haven't even told you about. Sometimes adults get so caught up in surviving their own lives that they don't realize how much their silence affects their parents. That doesn't make it okay, but it does mean you shouldn't automatically assume the worst. Before you tell yourself, my child doesn't care about me anymore, ask yourself, could there be something else going on? Sometimes there is. Part 2, don't be afraid to make the first call. I know some people will say, if they wanted to talk to me, they'd call me. But Grandma Miranda wants you to challenge that thinking. Why? Because relationships aren't always about keeping score. If you love your child and want to hear their voice, pick up the phone. Call them. Send them a text. Say, I was thinking about you today. I hope you're doing well. That's it. No guilt, no lecture, no, I guess you don't have time for your mother anymore. No, you never call me, just love. Sometimes is a simple message can reopen a door that both people thought was closed. Part 3, stop using guilt to get attention. This one is important. If you constantly tell your children how disappointed you are that they don't call, they may start avoiding the phone even more. Think about it. If every phone call becomes an argument, if every conversation begins with, you never call, your child may start thinking, I don't have the energy for this. Instead, try changing the tone. Instead of, why haven't you called me? Try, it's so good to hear your voice. That small change can make a tremendous difference. You want your child to associate calling you with warmth, not guilt. Part 4, but don't beg for love now. Here's where we have to draw a line. There's a difference between reaching out and begging someone to care. You can call, you can text, you can invite them over, you can tell them you love them, but you cannot force another adult to have this relationship you want. And I know that's painful, but sometimes growing older means accepting something we never wanted to accept. Our children are adults. We raise them. We give them roots. And eventually, they have to live their own lives. That doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you stop destroying your own peace trying to control something you can't control. Part 5, don't put your life on hold. This may be the most important message in today's video. Please don't sit beside the phone waiting for it to ring. Don't spend your entire week wondering whether your child is going to call. Don't let their silence become the center of your life. Get up, get dressed, go somewhere, call a friend, take a walk, join a group, learn something new, volunteer, take yourself out to lunch, start that hobby you've been always talking about. Your life is still happening and you deserve to live it. Your children's lives are important, but your life is important too. Part 6, build a life that doesn't depend on one phone call. When we were younger, our lives were often centered around our families. But as we get older, our social circles can become smaller. People move, friends pass away, children become busy, and suddenly we realize something. We need to intentionally build connection. Don't wait for your children to provide all of it. Make new friends. Reconnect with old ones. Find people who share your interests. Take a class, join a church or a community group if that's something meaningful to you. Volunteer. Even a weekly coffee with someone can make a difference. You don't need 50 friends. Sometimes you just need a few people who genuinely care. Part 7, have the conversation. If your relationship with your child has changed dramatically, sometimes you simply need to talk about it. Not during an argument, not when you're angry, and not through a long emotional text. Choose a calm moment and say something like, I know you're busy and I don't want to pressure you, but I've noticed we don't talk much anymore and I miss you. I'd really like to find a way for us to stay connected. That's honest, that's loving, and it doesn't attack them. You may be surprised by what they say. They may tell you they didn't realize you felt this way. They may tell you they're struggling. They may apologize, or they may not respond the way you hoped for. But at least you've said what was in your heart. Part 8, sometimes there is a deeper reason. Now, I don't want to pretend every situation is simple. Sometimes adult children pull away because they are unresolved, there are unresolved issues. Maybe there were things said years ago that were never addressed. Maybe there are family disagreements. Maybe there is resentment. Maybe both sides have been hurt. If that's your situation, don't pretend everything is fine. Sometimes healing requires an honest conversation, and sometimes it requires an apology. If you know you made a mistake as a parent, it's okay to say, I wasn't perfect. I wish I had handled some things differently. I'm sorry. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But remember this too. You can apologize without taking responsibility for everything. Relationships involve two people. You cannot repair everything by yourself. Part 9, don't make your grandchildren the middleman. If your relationship with your adult child is strained, please don't put the grandchildren in the middle. Don't ask, why doesn't your mom call grandma? Don't tell them, your mother doesn't care about me anymore. Children shouldn't have to carry adult problems. Love your grandchildren for who they are. Give them a safe place and keep adult disagreements between adults. Part 10, you are still important. Now I want to speak directly to the person watching this who hasn't heard from their child in weeks. maybe months, maybe even years. Please listen carefully. Their silence does not determine your worth. You were somebody before you became mom or dad. You were somebody before you became grandma or grandpa. You have experiences. You have memories. You have wisdom. You still have dreams. You still have things to give. And you still have a life to live. Maybe your relationship with your child will improve. Maybe it won't happen the way you want. But either way, don't abandon yourself while you're waiting for someone else to show up. In closing, if your child has stopped calling, I want you to remember 3 things. First, don't automatically assume they don't love you. Second, reach out with love, but don't chase someone who refuses to meet you halfway. And third, don't put your own life on hold waiting for the phone to ring. You can miss your children. You can love your children. You can wish things were different. And you can still choose to live a beautiful life. Getting older isn't the end of your story. In many ways, it's the beginning of learning how to live for yourself. And Grandma Miranda wants you to remember something. You are still worthy of love. You are still worthy of connection. And you are still important. If this message touched your heart, leave me a comment and tell me, do your children still call you? And if they don't, I want you to know that you're not alone. I'll see you in the next video. Love, Grandma. Bye for now.